Welcome to another episode of Afro Scientific Spirituality. My name still remains F. West, once again, wishing you live and direct from the heart of Africa. If this is your first time on this channel, you're welcome, and I hope you find your stay very pleasant and exciting. Today, I'm going to be talking about the book called the Simon Necronomicon and the racist life of H.P Lovecraft. I believe this is a very, very important and controversial topic, and I want to do justice to it today because there's a saying that until the lion learns to write, every story is going to glorify the hunter. So today I want us to look into the mystery, the underlying message of the Necronomicon, and the life of the writer called H.P Lovecraft. Let's put some things together and let's see what this book connotes and if it is really a magical grimoire. And let's just see the Necronomicon and the life of H.P Lovecraft from another perspective. So let's begin with the Necronomicon. This is a book that was proposed to have been written in the 1700s by an Arab man in Samaria called Abdul Alhazred. Is nicknamed as the Mad Arab. He wrote this book in the 1700s, and it was first originally written in Arabic. This man was a worshipper of underworld deity called Cthulhu. The name Cthulhu have been translated in the ancient Sumerian language to mean man of the underworld. Okay, so the aim or purpose of him writing this book was that he had some troubled life and he ran away from his city. He ran into the desert. He was sort of running away from the law, or in some recording he was kind of banished due to some crimes that he committed. So he ran to this desolated place where he got in touch or in contact with some dark deities, some dark spirits, and inspired him to write this book. This book is supposed to contain formulas for invoking and evoking incredible things, incredible or dark demonic entities into visible appearance. These can be beings, monsters, which are said to dwell in the abyss. By abyss we mean the underworld, what the Christians will call hell. And some of these entities are also living in outer space. That is, they are not in this earth realm. Some of them are even not in this Milky Way galaxy. They're not even in the solar system. They are from a place far, far, far away beyond our galaxy. While some of these entities can also be found inside the human psychic, inside deep within the inner recess of the human psychic, as in the places the scientists will love to call junk DNAs. So some of these dark deities can be found there. Okay. He even talk about some ancient deities that have been venerated in time past with reference to Tiamat, the great serpent of the sea, which some people are calling Lavanda. So let's go into the brief history of the book. According to the history of the Necronomicon, this historical record was written in 1938. The book was originally written by the mad Arab Abdul Alhazred, a worshipper of Cthulhu in the 700 AD. The Soon after some time, Abdul Alhazred disappeared. He had a sudden or mysterious death. So after a while, the book was translated from Arabic to Greek. The original version was written in Arabic. Later on, it was translated to Greek. So in the 13th century, it was translated to Latin. Before then, it was also banned outrightly by Pope Gregory the Ninth of the Catholic Church. So for some 2 centuries, the book could not be found in any place. Then in the 15th and 17th century, the Latin versions also resurfaced. And there was another famous occultist called John Dee. That is how we got the first English copy. This John Dee was also the magician that was responsible for creating the Unokan keys. These are some angelic language that you can use to summon angels. So, according to Lovecraft, he said that some original copies of this grimoire are currently locked up in the British Museum and also the Miskatonic University Library in Ashcombe. So, we can see that this grimoire have been with us for, let's say, over 1,000 years now, and somehow to this present day, the book have managed to survive. So, from my contact observation with this book, it is obviously clear that due to the constant translation of the book from Arabic to Greek to Latin to English, I believe the original message or writings of this book, some portions may have been lost in translation. And also, the imaginations of people that have come in contact with this book may have also contaminated the original message of this book. So, the book, we can't say it is exactly the same as the first version that was written by the mad Arab. But nevertheless, we still have some remnants of that original version, and there are some spirits or deities that are still residing in this book. So, this is a grimoire that is very popular in the world, and it's also very controversial. It has been banned in many countries in Europe. Many times, the owners of the book have been burnt along with the book, and many practitioners that have attempted to use the book have also ended up on the wrong side of the spirits they are trying to evoke from the book. Nevertheless, some practitioners have claimed to have huge success with the book. So, it is a grimoire that have inspired so many horror movies, so many horror stories, one of which is the Evil Dead trilogy, and lots of horror movies and stories. And it has been very, very inspirational. And I believe that this book is the major book that inspired Lovecraft in his horror writings. So, let's look at the life of Lovecraft. Lovecraft was a person that grew up with a troubled childhood. His father suffered from mental illness. His mom died at an early age. He too suffered from a disease called agoraphobia. This is a type of extreme anxiety disorder in which you tend to fear and avoid places or situations that might cause you panic or make you feel trapped, helpless, and embarrassed. So we can say that Lovecraft was a person that was obsessed with fear. He was afraid of so many things, and this can be what informed him to have this kind of vivid imaginations that we can see in his writings, in his horror writings. I believe that Lovecraft is someone that never slept with his light off in his room, because from my observations about his childhood and his writing, he fears so many things, and you can see that in the way he writes. And the character of Lovecraft as a person was that he was a racist. He was a hardcore, devout racist. He hated black people, and it showed clearly in his works. He make gratuitous use of the N-word, always describing black people as Negroes. He did that a lot, and in all his writings, the characters, the bad characters in his books, the bad guys are always black people. They are never white. So he tend to have a thing for promoting or pushing black people as bad people, and he never hided this in his public life. He openly supported lynch mob during his era. He promoted lynching of black people. He wrote about it in his letters to his friends. He wrote about how he supported the oppression of black people. He even supported Hitler. What is one of his comments about Hitler is that I know he's a clown, but God, I like the boy. He supported genocide. He supported oppression of black people, and he always depicted black people as evil people in his book. This is one of the traits that I notice about Lovecraft writings that his lovers or his fans never talk about. And he has a lot of fans in the occult world. Many of these so-called Western black magicians, occultists, slash demon worshippers, slash satanists, they kind of practically worship Lovecraft. They worship this guy literally. They believe every word he said. There are some other people that have come out, but very few, to talk about the books that is all fiction. Most of his books are fiction, but he kind of lifted the idea of this horror thesis from the Necronomicon. The chief demonic entity in the soul of his work was the Cthulhu character. According to the story about the Cthulhu, is that these gods, the ancient god of Cthulhu and Yog-Sothoth and his crew, they are entities that have existed outside this world, beyond time and space, even before humans and before the earth were created. And they lived and they ruled the earth for a long time. Then they went asleep, and they are sleeping. And they can get into people's dreams easily. And apparently, Lovecraft was having nightmares about these spirits. And he claimed that the spirits contacted him and they told him that they are going to come back to the earth at a later time. And these spirits are very, very horrible. They are very dangerous. They are very bad. In fact, they are the baddest of the baddest. In all of Western occultism and spirituality, the Cthulhu Mythos, the Cthulhu deity can be said to be the baddest guy due to the imagination of Lovecraft. He has successfully captivated the mind and implanted this horrible spirits of Cthulhu into the minds of most Western people, and they actually believe this guy. But in my own opinion, of my view of the Necronomicon and Lovecraft, I will say that Lovecraft was a person that was a very fearful person. He was scared of so many things. He was even scared of his own shadow. and he has a very vivid imagination. So he was able to somehow, due to his fear phobia, he somehow was attracted to scary subjects, to horror, and he was afraid of the same thing. He was obsessed by horror. He was fascinated by horror to the extent that he somehow got his hands upon this Necronomicon Grimoire, which was one of the most popular grimoires had there. And the grimoire also inspired and blew his imagination and fear propensity out of proportion, that he started writing books, dreaming about the Necronomicon, creating all these myths and creating all these tales. And he was also afraid of black people. He was so afraid of black people, of black culture, of Africa, that he attached this Necronomicon mythos to the culture of black people. That is why blacks are his antagonists in all his work. A classic example of this is his book titled The Festival. To understand what I'm talking about, you need to read this book, Lovecraft, The Festival. You will understand how Lovecraft was writing about some explorers that were so scared of an aspect of African culture that they depicted it in a very horrible way. At the end of the day, they discovered monsters and unbelievable entities. These are all fulfillments of his imagination that are coming into reality. So, if we look the life of Lovecraft and his racism, his hatred of black people, and his fear of anything that he did not understand, we will clearly see how the creation of Cthulhu came to be. In his book, he talks about them, the Cthulhu entities. He called them Cthulhu the Dreaded One, him who is not to be named. And he said that these gods are sleeping and they are going to come back, and they told him they are going to come back at a time in the future. He totally got this from the Necronomicon. He can easily ask got this the same ideology from the Bible. What I see with this revelation is that the great old ones are simply the gods and ancient spirits of Africa, of Africans, that have been sidelined, removed from activity by the effects of colonization, that have been destroyed by Christianity and Islam. He has kind of seen that after a while, people are going to wake up to the lies and antics of Christianity. And most people that have been hoodwinked by the religion of Islam and Christianity are going to go back to their normal, original spirituality, which is African spirituality. And there's going to be a rise of the African people and other indigenous spiritual systems in the world at a later time in the future. Probably with this Aquarius age that we are entering. And this is what is currently happening. People are now waking up to see the follies and lies of religion, and they are not going back to their traditional spiritual systems. So this is just like a circle that is taking its natural rotation of what will naturally happen. So my own interpretation of the myths of the Necronomicon is that Lovecraft have seen or have discovered that at the point in the future, indigenous people are going to go back to their spiritual systems, and he see that as a very, very terrible thing. He see that as a total destruction of the Western way of life, of this fake ass life that we are living, of paying for everything, of destroying the earth and destroying the world of climate change and capitalism. He sees that as a bad thing. So the rise of indigenous spirituality is the destruction of this pseudo spirituality, the destruction of this illusion of Christianity, Islam, and this scam system of capitalism that the world is practicing. So that is the destruction of the world that Lovecraft is actually referring to. Not that some scary demons will come into this earth and start eating everybody and drinking blood and doing all sorts of dirty things. Lovecraft is somebody that I will say is a little bit insane, slightly insane. And he encouraged this kind of, he was able to share this kind of mindset. He encouraged people to share his work, people to exaggerate, to modify his work. So many writers were also adding their imagination to blow his works out of proportion or to scare people, to increase the horror genre around the world. Lovecraft encouraged this kind of behavior. He was very happy about it. That's why we have so many writings, so many authors that combined with him to promote different sort of horror genres around the world. So this is what I have seen with the guy, and this is something that I have noticed that all the people that are talking about Lovecraft, all these Western occult black magicians always praising the guy, kissing his ass. Most of them, they are just attaching themselves or doing the same thing that Lovecraft encouraged, blow things out of proportion. Some of them are even something claiming to summon the deities, making pacts with imaginary deities and stuff like that. These are somebody's imagination, but maybe with time, these imaginations have now become thought forms and they can actually become actual deities, because we can use our mind to create deities as well. So with time, some of them might actually become real if you believe that they are real, just the same way Jesus Christ was made up and now is a real spirit. People can also create demons with their minds and be feeding those demons with their attention by supplementing them, praying to them, worshiping to them, giving them more power. So the good thing about that is that by them venerating these imaginary deities, they are also facilitating the change that is also going to come to this world. So they are also helping the African people to rise in a way. They are also helping to usher in awakening in a way, because this is what this spirit was designed for. So their stupidity can also be a blessing to us in disguise. So we should allow them to venerate Lovecraft deities, to call them. We should allow them to call them. It's a good thing. But in my own opinion, they are simply African deities that have been blown out of proportion by the mind of a racist that have been obsessed, that is so obsessed with fear. Fear of himself, fear of everything around him, fear of mostly black people, fear of Arabic people, fear of the spirits and deities of Africans. This guy was so obsessed with fear, he became a master horror writer. So this is what I see about the person of Lovecraft, the revolution of the old ones that are going to come back, that are the great old ones. We Africans are those great old ones. We are the root race of the world that have been sidelined and oppressed, and currently we are sleeping. We are not even sleeping right now. We are in a state of coma. Africans are in a state of coma. But one day they are going to wake up, and if they wake up, it is game over for these fake people. They have to fall in line, or they will naturally lose their edge. So we all know what is happening in the world today. We all know the game these people are playing, and we all know the game they are also playing in spirituality. When it comes to Lovecraft, I will say, is another racist occultist, just like Aleister Crowley was a racist as well. And I don't see anything he has done apart from trying to use his work to spread racism all over the world, which he has succeeded in doing by depicting black people as bad people in his work. That is what I see about Lovecraft. Nothing more, nothing less. Then for the book, the Necronomicon, this is a book that I reviewed. Actually, it is one of the first magical grimoires I got in touch with when I started my magical career. That should be around 10 years ago. I did some contact with some deities in the book, not all of them. From my own experience with the book has a spirit behind it. Whether we like it or not, it is a real grimoire, the original Necronomicon. In the Simon Necronomicon, you can contact some spirits there that are active. I have tried some of them. They are actually active spirits. And they want to be heard. They want to actually walk on this plane. So, me doing this video is due to their prompting. Since last year, the book has been speaking to me to do a video on the Necronomicon. But I didn't really want to do it because I want to focus on African subjects. I don't want to be talking about foreign spirituality. But the noise was too much, so I decided to talk about the book before I will do any other video today. What I know about the book is that there's a spirit behind the book. There's a spirit behind it, a powerful spirit, and the book wants to be heard. For those people that are disturbing me, that they want grimoires, they are interested, this Simon Necronomicon is a very good book that I recommend for you guys. You can get the book. The good thing is that it is free to download on the internet. Don't we all just love the internet? Just type in the Simon Necronomicon PDF. You're going to get the complete Simon Necronomicon. Just type it like that. You're going to get a complete book. Now, there are some gates in the book, so-called Sumerian gates and names. I did not bother to go through any of them. My spirit didn't tell me to attempt it. I don't even have the time and the materials for those rites. I believe some of those rites have been contaminated, outdated, and mistranslated. So it will not work. But if you still want to try them, you can try them. But there are names of spirits in the book that are very good. You can contact those spirits directly by using their names and sigils. If you know how to channel spirits, you can actually do that, or you have to learn that. There are some very active spirits in the book, and it's a very good book. It is not a bad book. I will not say it's a bad book, but it is dark. It's a dark book. Spirits that are in that book are from a darker aspects of reality. So you should know this before you approach the book. They are not celestial entities. They are from darker aspects of reality, of the dark matter consciousness. But they are good spirits depending on how you intend to work with them. It's a give and take relationship. You should always know this. So put that at the back of your mind. The book wanted me to talk about it, and I have talked about it today. For whoever want to know about the Necronomicon, this is the way I think about the Necronomicon. For the deity of Cthulhu, in my own opinion, once again, is over-exaggerated. The drawings of this guy, the elephant, I don't think that is the real Cthulhu. Lovecraft have used his twisted imagination to create this beast. In my own opinion, Cthulhu may very well be one of the over 1,000 masquerades we have in Africa. He must have somehow seen an African masquerade and twisted it into Cthulhu and said that this is the thing that has been talking to me. So I didn't really get that vibe that this is a real thing, but those people that are imagining things to become real, they can actually think that is a real thing. But for me, that is just a filament or figment of the imagination of this racist guy. Cthulhu, from the original book, can be any African. Even the mad Arab may have seen some of these masquerades before he decided to write on them. From also a twisted imagination, he might actually be a mad person in reality. Who knows? So, not everything we see in books should be taken exactly the way it was written. Things have been written and rewritten and rewritten. So we may not necessarily just accept them as a fact. In my own opinion, once again, you should let your spirit guide you. The good thing is that we have names of some deities there. We can actually use the names to contact the deity. So you can know things for yourself. So that is a good thing. So I think the Necronomicon is a very good book. And I recommend this book, a very powerful grimoire. But for the person of Lovecraft, try to separate him from this book. Lovecraft is a madman. His work was influenced heavily by fear and obsession and racism. So try to separate the personality of Lovecraft or what he thinks about this book. Or in fact, read his books. You will know the kind of person he is. Read the festival and the rest. You will know that this guy is a fucking racist. So you will know what to expect of this kind of people writing books. So I don't need to even tell you what to think about him. I encourage you to read his books so that you should know his personality. Try to read into his life. You will know who Lovecraft really is. For those people that are painting me as a good person, I have been looking at you people because I know the guy. So I look at you people, I know who is a racist, I know he's not a racist. So let's call a spade a spade. Lovecraft is a fucking racist, and his low mentality influenced his work a lot. So I will not believe most of the things he wrote about these spirits. So this is my 2 cents on the issue. This is what I have for you today. Like and share this video. Hit the notification bell and so you can get my videos as soon as they come out. Subscribe to this channel and please support my channel. And I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take care and bye.